I'd like to call the Tuesday, January 7th, 2025 Papillion City Council meeting to order. Ms. Brown, would you please take the roll?
Sunday. Here. Mumgard. Here. Gaines. Glover. Here. Fanslow. Here. Klug. Stubbe. Here. Engberg.
We have a quorum?
We do.
All right, thanks. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Do we have an affidavit of publication on file?
We do.
A current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the council chambers. Ms. Powers, Administrator's report, please.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. And as the holiday seasons are wrapping up and winding down and decorations are coming down, I do want to remind everybody of the city's tree recycling program for anybody that has live trees. That's open now through January 19th. And trees must be free of all ornaments and tree stands. And then our 3 locations where people can drop them off, it's the same locations we've had for the last few years. But it's the Papillion Bay Aquatic Center parking lot on Halleck Street, the Papillion Volunteer Fire Department's parking lot, which is on Limerick Road, and then Walnut Creek Connector Trail parking lot, which is Schramm Road, and Creekside Drive, which is just west of 96th Street. And I do also want to give a quick update on the sewer agency. As you may have heard, the Sarpy County and Cities Wastewater Agency's regional wastewater system, easy for me to say, has been officially operating since December 20th. Since the agency was formed in 2017, it has been tasked with resolving the long-standing barrier to development south of the Ridge Line, which has been the lack of that sanitary system. So thank you to all of you council members, the county, the other cities within Sarpy County, also the city of Omaha, and the agency. You've all played a huge role in making this day finally a reality. And we will have an official ceremony this spring when it warms up. And then we'll send out invites when there's more information available about that ceremony. And so we are continuing to streamline and to work through some policies and agreements to streamline our processes for the agency. And one of those policies to streamline is to adopt the agency's master plan into our city's comprehensive plan. And the agency's master plan was approved by the Planning Commission at their last meeting on December 18th. And it now will come to you guys at the next council meeting on January 21st. The updated maps help the development community and kind of lay out where we're developing next and who's responsible for what portions of the line as it develops out. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. But again, that'll be on next agenda for your consideration of approval. And then I also want to give an update on the Sarpy Douglas Law Enforcement Academy, STELIA. It has been successful in creating a regional law enforcement academy to train Sarpy, Douglas, La Vista, Bellevue, Metro, and Papillion police officers. There's currently a class going on now which will graduate in May, and it would be great to have those officers trained into the force when that wraps up. The current STELIA in our local does need to be renewed, and you'll notice that we had the renewal on tonight's council agenda but amended and removed it. There was a member city that had some questions that we needed to clarify that came up yesterday. So we pulled it out of caution, but we did get those questions clarified and there won't be any amendments to it. So the original agreement as was originally published will be what we present at the next council meeting for your consideration. But I did want to draw attention to that while you'll see that it was amended off for tonight. And then we do look forward to continuing with this great partnership. Next, DELEA will be looking at its vision and long-term goals for the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. So between Chief Whitted and myself, we'll keep you updated as they complete a strategic plan the next couple months. And then also just to note that the 2025 legislative session starts tomorrow. Mayor Black and I will keep you updated as we work with senators, city staff, United Cities, the League, and others for hopefully a great and productive legislative session. And then just one more quick reminder that city offices will be closed on Monday, January 20th in observation of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Councilman Glover. Second by Councilman Fanslow. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion? Please vote.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Item D1, ordinance 2043, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from LC Limited Commercial to CC Community Commercial for the property legally described as Lot 190 Granite Creek East and Lot 1 Granite Creek East Replat 1, generally located on the northeast corner of South 102nd Street and Highway 370. The applicant is Gerald Torzon, Granite Creek East. Is there a councilman will introduce? Introduced by Councilman Stubbe. D2, ordinance 2045, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from R4 multifamily residential to R4 PUD2 multifamily residential with a specific planned unit overlay for the property legally described as a replatting of Lot 1 Trinity Addition Outlot A Papillion Landing and Tax Lot 12B, Section 27, Township 4 North, Range 12 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska. Generally located at 520 West Lincoln Street. The applicant's Emmanuel Retirement Communities, Trinity Addition Replat 1. Is there a councilman will introduce? Introduced by Councilman Mumgard. E1, ordinance 2039, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. It's a public hearing. I'll open it. Any proponents or opponents? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. E2, ordinance 2041, an ordinance to amend section 9-26, 9-28 through 9-32 and chapter 179 of the Papillion Municipal Code to coincide with current practice of the tree board. It's a public hearing. I'll open it. Any proponents or opponents? Close public hearing. E3, ordinance 2042, an ordinance to approve a change of zone from AG agricultural to R4 multifamily residential and R4 PUD2 multifamily residential with a specific planned unit development overlay for the property legally described as a tract of land located in part of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter along with all of the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter, excluding any right-of-way dedication for South 72nd Street, Stony Point Drive, and Ponderosa Drive, all located in Section 1, Township 13 North, Range 12 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, generally located southeast of 72nd Street and Schramm Road. The applicant is Ponderosa 72 Development LLC, Ponderosa Place. It's a public hearing. I'll open it. Any proponents or opponents? Close the public hearing. Item E4, ordinance 2044, an ordinance to amend Papillion Municipal Code section 5128 to update and harmonize with amendments to Nebraska Revised Statute 49-1499.03. It's a public hearing. Any proponents or opponents? Close the public hearing. F1, resolution R250002, a public hearing and a vote. A resolution to approve a revised preliminary plat for the property legally described as a tract of land located in part of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter, along with all of the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter, excluding any right-of-way dedication for South 72nd Street, Stony Point Drive, and Ponderosa Drive, all located in Section 1, Township 13 North, Range 12 east of the 6 p.m., Sarpy County, Nebraska. Generally located southeast of 72nd and Schramm, the applicant's Ponderosa 72 development. It's a public hearing. I'll open it. Any proponents or opponents? Close the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve resolution R250002? Motion by Councilman Stubbe. Second by Councilman Fanslow. Any discussion? Please vote.
Five yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. F2, resolution R250016, a resolution to approve the terms of the purchase and sale agreement between the City of Papillion and Urban Waters LLC for the purchase of property located at 200 and 226 North Adams. Is there a motion to approve resolution R250016? Motion by Councilman Glover. Second by Councilman Stubbe. Any proponents or opponents? I'll note that the representative of the purchaser is here. Any council discussion? I'll note this is a little unusual item because I think it's one of the first times we've ever done it, so a little bit for the public. This is the Public Works redevelopment project we've been talking about for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, a real long time. During the midst of it is when COVID hit, and that slowed things down. And then FEMA mentioned they were going to change the flood maps. That slowed things down again. Then the economy hit, and the interest rates jacked up, so that slowed it down again. But the original developer who responded to the RFP, and that was the last vote the council took, was the approval to go negotiate with that developer. But that vote was 3 years ago, maybe 4. But all of that stuff happened in between there, so it's been a long time. That developer did reiterate their interest to redevelop the site, and so they've been doing a lot of work with staff now over the last year on site planning and TIF agreements and that type of thing. So it went to the LCRA committee to start the TIF process last month. There will be a number of approvals that will come before you and the Planning Commission, because it's got to go through the entitlements, it's got to have the TIF agreements. But we figured that probably get the purchase agreement in front of you sooner than later, and that does a couple of things. One, it gives the buyer assurance that the land could be sold and they know it, so they can go get their financing. At the second thing, though, I think it sends a strong message to the Planning Commission, the RCLA, of our intent to proceed. Now, your approval of the terms tonight is not actually authorizing the purchase, because there are a number of contingencies in the purchase agreement, and a number of those are the actual entitlements. So you still have to see the zoning, the platting, the TIF agreement. So you'll have a lot of votes prior to closing, but we thought the purchase agreement was a big statement. Mr. Sunday, any questions?
I just want the public to be aware. It's my understanding that this land is in a blighted area currently.
That is correct.
It's not generating any tax revenue for the city as we speak.
It's got zero valuation right now.
So by giving TIF financing, we're not per se giving anything up in terms of tax revenues.
Correct.
That we're already receiving.
Because we're getting none now, and without TIF, the project they wouldn't do the project without TIF, so that but-for test. Correct.
Thank you.
You bet. Any other questions from council? Please vote.
5 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you. So all the regular agenda items, I believe. Yep. And no committees have met. Any comments from the floor? Council comments? Not much the last couple of weeks, just because of the holidays and New Year's. I think the biggest thing, just to reiterate, is what Ms. Powers mentioned. The legislature is now in session. It's either today was day 1 or tomorrow is day 1. It is the first of the biennium, so it's a long session, and there's 10 days for bill introduction. And if we watch the last session and the special session, I'd say we all have no clue of what's going to be introduced. So we'll watch it real closely over the next 10 days, the next 10 days of the session, not calendar days. We've got the League of Municipality obviously is watching for municipal issues, and I'm on the executive board there, so I'll be able to get some insight if there's anything that is of concern. And then the United Cities obviously watches it real close as well. And then our staff, we have some process on the staff side, but we'll be watching. So we'll be watching bills from about 3 different perspectives. So hopefully of anything that's of interest for municipalities or specifically Papillion, we'll hopefully catch those. And then probably be able to give you a better update after bill introduction. And as typical with the legislature, a lot of bills will probably get introduced, but unless they actually get a hearing and get a priority and get to the floor, there's probably nothing going to happen with them anyway. So kind of hurry up and wait, I guess. If you see things in the news or you're hearing of things that are of specific interest to you that you want us watching, make sure we're aware of that. But other than that, we'll probably just update you how we see things after the final bill introduction. I think that's most of the last couple of weeks just because of the holidays. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Glover. Second by Councilman Stubbe. Please vote.
5 ayes, 0 nays.
We are adjourned.